Right here with Danny Green. Danny, this is a really interesting fight, Tyson Pedro, Chris Terziewski.
Yeah, it is, Jay. It's a fight that Tyson Pedro wanted. He said to me, I want the respect of the Australian boxing public immediately. And I think the pressure's on Chris Terziewski because everyone in boxing is going to want to see Terziewski defeat Pedro, not because they don't like Pedro, just because they want boxing to be the winner. They don't want a guy similar to Ngannou, who come over and nearly beat Fury in the first fight. They don't want to see that. Boxing fans don't want to see that. So this is so interesting. But Tyson Pedro, he wants to make a statement straight away, and he wants to take Terziewski's ranking, but he wants the respect of the boxing community immediately.
He's a really slick boxer, Terziewski. What sort of challenges does that pose to Tyson in the ring?
Really, really difficult. Pedro is very imposing. He's a very strong human being. He's a very good puncher. He's got good fundamental boxing skills. He's no mug. He had 5 amateur fights before he went to MMA, but his boxing's always been very strong. So he's up against it with Terziewski as far as fundamental skills and experience goes, without doubt. Terziewski has a runs on the board in boxing, but Pedro has been on the big stage and under the bright lights in the UFC. So the pressure, when it comes down to it, when the bell goes, the pressure's going to be equal. One sec, boys.
Were you surprised that Tyson made the decision to come over to boxing? What did you make of all that?
Not really surprised because he's wanted to for a long time. He's spoken about it for a long time. And he's had a vision. 6 years ago, he sent a vision board to his trainer and said, on the vision board was the WBC world title belt. So he's wanted to shift across, come back to boxing for quite some time. So I'm not really surprised at the move.
Massive turnout here today at the press conference. We said off camera, what's harder, fighting or promoting? Have you enjoyed the whole promotional game? Is this something that you want to do long term?
I've been doing it for a long time with Green Machine Promotions. We started our first promotion back in 2002. So we've done shows, stadium shows for a long time, and we launched Dan's first pay-per-view. There was promoted for that one as well with Sonny Bill versus Barry Hall. It wasn't a great event as far as the boxing goes, but it was a really successful event for numbers. So we've been doing it for a long time, and it's good to be back. I prefer fighting. Yeah, fighting is what I love. It's more. It takes less energy. Fighting takes less energy than promoting. But it was great to see. I had a lot of familiar faces and a lot of people that I haven't seen for a long time. So that was really nice to see that, and it was really appreciative of the support that people showed and coming out and supporting the event. But I think they're supporting boxing, not me. They're supporting boxing. They want to. Boxing's had a renaissance. It's really come alive in Australia in the last five or so years. It kind of goes in waves, and it's back in a big way. And this event, Tyson Pedro's MO to me was, Danny, I'm taking on the hardest challenge I could possibly find. Anyone that fights in this show has to do the same. That's exciting for the boxing fans at home.
Good little co-main event, Alex Winwood. What do you make of him as a fighter? Lot of talent there.
Super talent, 4-0. Taking on a guy like Joey Canoy is a big ask. Canoy, as he said, defeated the current world champion who just beat the Mexican. So this guy's had Jerusalem's the winner. He beat the Mexican Soto. So there's a lot at stake in this fight. But Canoy has got the experience on the board, and Jay, these Filipinos at this level, this high level, any number of them could be world champions on their day, and this guy's no different. Canoy's no different. He's defeated the current world champion. So Alex Winwood, in his 5th pro fight's taken on a guy like this. Again, it shows the balls that Winwood's got and the belief. Balls and the belief in what he knows and what he does and what he brings to the game, what he brings to the fight. I'm confident in his ability. He's the real deal. He's a great role model for his community, for our community. And I really see this as people at home and at the stadium at Hordern Pavilion go, I want to see that kid again. That was mad.
You mentioned the renaissance of Australian boxing. As a legend of the sport here in Australia, how proud are you to see these young guys coming up, and who do you see as the guys leading the way at the moment? Obviously got Kambosos, Opetaia, the Maloney boys. How do you assess the landscape at the moment?
Yeah, it's in a great place. Tim Tszyu, flying the flag, and George is about to, go up against Lomachenko. the Maloney twins. One's world champion, one's fighting for the world championship. Alex Winwood, he's in the mix. Jai Pataya's on a tear. He's going off. Which has got Sky Nicholson. Liam Paro's, up there, right up there. Liam Wilson had a tough fight, but it was really in it, and it was a really, really exciting fight. Nikita's, exciting everyone. So there's Australia's in a really good position for boxing. It's great. It's great to see. As a fighter, it's mad because I want to see more good fights, more great fights. So for all of us, it's a win-win.
Got to ask you, did you see the fight on the weekend, Tim Tszyu Fondora? What did you make of all that went on in that fight?
I think enough's been said about the controversy, and I think that could have been handled differently. And who knows what the outcome may have been if it was handled better. But no need to dwell on that. I'm looking and go and tip my hat to Tim. He's a warrior. Put up a great performance. It was a magic fight. He did the best he could, and Fundora was struggling to breathe through it. He had massive blood issues going down his throat from the nose, broken nose, and cutting that inside his mouth. So he had issues as well. Both guys put on an absolute magic performance, and it was what it was. That's the game. That's the sport of boxing. But I don't think Tim didn't lose any fans. No. He's he showed his true warrior spirit.
Massive fight coming up, Kambosos, Lomachenko. What does George have to do in that fight to get the win in your eyes?
He's got to do everything right. He's got to have the fight of his life on that particular night. So, George has proven it once against Lopez. He can do it again. It's a very difficult fight. Lomachenko's no joke. He's been around a long time, and is he at his peak? No. But half a guy like Lomachenko is still the best in the world. But he's proved against Haney. Lomachenko is still very, very dangerous and just superb. So it's a really difficult fight. But I think George has got a lot of hunger. He's a hungry fighter. So if he can bring that hunger and the best fight of his life on that night, he can win.
Got Green Machine Promotions. You retired a few years ago now from the ring. What do you do outside of the ring? How do you like to keep busy? How do you stay active, keep the mind active since your retirement?
I surf a lot. I relocated down to Moat River. Haven't had a beer in 5 years, and I just love the oceans. I love it. I've always surfed my whole life, Jay. So now we relocated down there because it's one of the best locations in the world for quality, consistent surf. And I keep fit. Still train a lot. Train my boy Archie. Unfortunately, he wants to fight. When I say unfortunately, it's hard for it. It goes against every parental instinct to let your son fight. But being strong and fit and healthy and willing and able is non-negotiable in our household. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm keeping busy. I've got my gyms, got my U-Box chain of gyms franchise around the world. We're in the UK, Japan, Ireland, Singapore, New Zealand, just opened in the United States, all across Australia. So got a few things going on, mate, and plus this now. This is keeping me real busy, Joe.
Now, it's a bucket list interview, this one, for me, because I was a massive Mundine fan and the Green Mundine rivalry growing up. How do you look back on your career? What's the proudest moment for you, do you think? What are you most proud of in your career?
It's a difficult question, Joe. Yeah.
Is there a fight that stands out for you?
Oh, Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
He just demolished Jeff Lacey, demolished him. And Jeff Lacey was no mug. And then after I beat Roy, he fought Bernard Hopkins, who was then pound for pound, and went 12 rounds, went the distance, and I beat Roy in the first round, which doesn't make me a better fighter. But I knew Roy didn't take me very seriously. I knew that Roy thought this would be Green's tough, he can punch, he's a goer, he can fight, but he's on my level. And I wasn't on his level, but on the night I got him because I had immense self-belief. Yeah. So that was, that for me was a standout in my career to beat Roy Jones Jr. But I think getting off the canvas against Flagacek was a big thing for me. I was busted up pretty bad, mate. A lot of people would have been asleep. my jaw was fractured. I had was badly broken nose in round 9. Was chopped up inside a real bad cut in my mouth, and then he hit me that beautiful left hook just before the 11th round. I was 4 points up on all scorecards. He had to knock me out. He was the champion. So that was a really big thing for me. I just lost my title to Tava the fight before, got stopped. So to come back and then dominate against Vladajic, but I got stopped. That's the game. But to get up off the canvas, like I was, I think I proved my will to win, and my intent to get up and try and. I went out my shield, mate. And for me, going out in your shield as a fighter, although it's kind of stupid, but that's what, as a fighter, that's what I'm very proud of, mate. Going out my shield.
Legend. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate it, Jay. Thanks very much, mate.